Hello everyone, this is Robin the Delta Crafter and I want to thank you for joining me for another video on my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be talking about this brand new stencil from Simon Says Stamp. This is the Horizon Line stencil, and guys, this stencil is amazing. This has got to be one of the most ingenious crafting creations I've seen in a long time. If you haven't seen this stencil, this is a new stencil from Simon Says Stamp. But what this stencil is, first of all, it was designed by Christina Werner, and she is amazing. She's an amazing crafter and card maker. But what this stencil is there are several different horizon lines or skylines built into this one stencil. So there is a like a tree line. There's a city line. There's another tree line with more like evergreens. There's clouds, 2 layers of clouds, so it gives you lots of diversity. And then there are waves at the bottom, 3 different waves. So you can do a lot with these waves. You can make water, you can make hills, you can do all kinds of things. But aside from the fact that there's so much packed into this one stencil, the other genius part of this stencil is you can use it different ways. So turn it, if you insert your paper this way, you get one cityscape or one city line. If I turn it over and I insert my stencil like this, my paper into the stencil, I'll get a totally different city line. That is genius. Same thing with the clouds. I can insert my paper from the front and I'll get a certain skyline or a cloud line. I can insert my paper from the back and I'll get a different kind of cloud because now my clouds will be pointing down. I can also flip this over and use it in a different way. I mean, genius. And the best part about this stencil is the price point. I believe this stencil is $6.99. The amount of versatility that's packed into this stencil for $6.99, perfection to me in a crafting supply. So that's why I'm calling this the stencil that everybody needs to have, because this, again, is just genius. It's just genius. So let's get into using the stencil in a couple of different ways. So the first thing I want to do is I want to create the city skyline. So in order to create the city skyline, I'm going to insert my paper from the back. And I'm going to position it right about there, because this is the part that I want. So one of the things that you're going to need to make to get the best use out of this stencil is you're going to need either some mint tape. This is from scrapbook.com, or Post-it tape, whatever you choose, because there's so many different pieces or lines here. You want to kind of tape off the other cityscapes or horizon lines in order to make sure that you don't get those accidentally kind of in your ink blending when you're doing your ink blending. So I'm going to tape those off, or tape those down really, to kind of make sure I don't get those in my ink blending. So for this video, I'm going to use several different inks from Pinkfresh Studio. I just recently added to my Pinkfresh Studio collection. I'm trying to continue to grow it, and so I'm going to use those today. So I'm going to also use some of my smaller detail ink blending brushes. So these are also from Simon Says Stamp. And let me also say, guys, this video is not sponsored. I am not an affiliate with Simon Says Stamp. I just think this is one of the smartest, most versatile tools or crafting items I've seen come on the market in a very long time. So I just felt like I wanted to do a video on this. So I'm gonna bring in my gray. This is Misty Coast. Let me get my ink spot and hold it in place for me. So this is Misty Coast. This is a very soft gray. And I'm just gonna load up my brush. And I'm gonna come in for ink blending. I want my darker area to be at the top. And so where my buildings are, so I'm gonna come on the stencil and then come on to my paper. So I'm just gonna load this up and continue to ink blend my cityscape. And depending on what you wanna do, you may want this to fade all the way down or come all the way down. You could also, because you could use those waves to be water, which I think is what I'm gonna do with this. I'm gonna go to a certain point, bring my ink in, my ink blending down to a certain point, and then I'm gonna come in with that, the wave, and I'm gonna add some blue for water. So again, this is Misty Coast from Pinkfresh Studio. All right, so I'm gonna take my gray to about there. So that's gonna give me a beautiful cityscape. Cover my ink up. Take my stencil up. That didn't take long at all. Peel my tape back and let's reveal. We've got a beautiful cityscape there. Now, another ingenious thing about this cityscape, this horizon stencil rather, is that you also have a mask because of the way that it's cut. So I can come in from the front, slide my paper back down, and now I'm going to mask. I can mask all of the things I just inked up. I mean, y'all, no one can tell me that this is not just the most smartest, most genius tool that has come on the market in a very long time. Now, I'm not saying that I know everything that comes on the market, but I'm pretty sure that if there was something else out there like this, I would have seen it. Or something as creative as this, I would have seen it. So let me line that back up. You could also use pixie spray. So I'm gonna line that back up, and then I'm gonna put a piece of the tape up here just to hold the paper in place while I move on to my next step, which I'm going to come in with some of this Slumber blue. And now I'm going to add some blue for our skyline. For our air. All right, pick up a little bit more. I never want to let ink go to waste. So anytime I tap off, I go back into what I tapped off before I go back to my my ink pad. All right, so I've got that on there. Let's take a look at what we just created. Look at that, y'all. Now I could come in and clean this up and get a little bit closer, but look how I was able to get the blue and the gray and the blue blending in together there. Just, I mean, again, I'm gonna stop saying it because I've said it enough. All right, so now I want to come in with some clouds, but I think I want my, how do I want to do this? I think I want my clouds to be scalloped down. So I turn my stencil around. I'm going to come in from the back. I'm gonna take this piece off. I'm gonna come in from the back. I'm gonna pull this down. Now I'm going to put that right there like that. So this piece of mint tape is going to hold it in place. And this piece of mint tape is going to hold the stencil in place. So I'm holding the paper, holding the stencil. Now I'm going to come back in with my Slumber, tap off a little bit, just because I don't want to come in too heavy. I can take away, I can add to, but I can't take away. Now I saw where Jennifer McGuire did a video using this stencil, and she cut hers apart. So there's little holes right here where the slits are made, and she just cut the individual pieces and parts apart. I kind of like it together, so I think that's how I'm going to leave mine. Okay, now I'm going to do this. I'm going to pull this part up. Look at those clouds. Okay, and now I'm going to go into the second layer of the clouds. That's going to give me something totally different. I'm going to move, more like closer to this side. Or maybe not. No, let's do it like that. I want a little variation in my, where my scallops come in. All right, so I'm going back into my ink that I tapped off. I'm gonna do this first. And add another layer of clouds to our skyline. So now I've got 2 layers of clouds. I can even add a 3rd layer by flipping the stencil over. And that's gonna give me even more variation and options and choices. Look at that, y'all. I mean, come on. Move this up just a tiny bit. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to come in again with this Slumber ink. I'm going to add a 3rd and final layer of clouds up here at the top. I'm kind of imagining this is kind of like New York City, where we have the city line, or in Chicago even, where we have the city line, and then I'm gonna add some water at the bottom. Maybe even some trees. Let's add some trees. Yes, let's do that. Because there are cities that are on bodies of water, major cities that are on bodies of water. So they'll have a skyline, some sky. Look at that. Now, I want some of this to be softened. So I'm going to just kind of come in. I don't want the starkness of that white across the top, as well as around here. So just come in with a little bit of blue, tone that white down just a tiny bit. Again, just using my ink that I tapped off. That just allows me to do that. All right. So I think that we could probably do some of this trees. Let's do some of the trees. Come in from the bottom. Now, because this is very intricate, this die is very intricate. I'm sorry, the stencil is very intricate. You are gonna have to just be careful and work with it a little bit when you go from place to place. So when you're using, the city line, that's a lot of intricate work there. Even the clouds, that's very intricate as well. So just be careful and work with the stencil. Be patient when you're going from section to section. All right, so let's move to a green, a pretty green here, Grassy Knoll. And then I'm gonna come down, I'm going to tape this down. And I'm gonna come in, see? I almost messed up because my tree is not on top of my paper. I need my tree on top of my paper. All right. Let me make sure, move this up to make sure I got plenty of room for everything that I want to do before I start with my inking. Okay, so there we go. So I'm not going to go that far with the ink because I don't have a whole lot of space left down here, and I still want to do some water. I'm going to use this Ocean Breeze for like a layer of wave down here. So I'm going to come in. The ink is still wet on my brush, and I'm going to lightly give us a little bit of greenery and grass. That is moving along the edge here. This is going to be great to make, you know, one layer cards. So I'm going to go in a little bit darker up here because my greenery is fading into the gray of my city line. So I definitely want to make sure my green covers up my gray. All right. So that, look where we are, y'all. I'm telling you, amazeballs. Excuse me. And so for this, how do I want this? Yeah, let's go this way right here. So many ways to use this. Do I want to go this way and have my wave at the bottom? Or do I want to go... Choices, choices, choices. Okay, I think I'm gonna go like this. And then I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do to fill in the rest. Give me this tape back. Give me this tape back. Yeah, let's go like that. Okay. Put this to hold the stencil in place, and this is gonna hold my paper in place while I come in, close this up. Let's get this Ocean Breeze out before I open up my ink. Let me just spray a little water, clean some of this up because I need that space to tap off. Okay. Ocean Breeze. There we go. I'm gonna tap off. I'm gonna hold it down. I'm gonna come on the stencil and off onto the paper. Because this is the bottom of my card, my panel rather, I'm gonna go ahead and cover this whole area up with ink. Ink the whole thing up. Okay, so now I've got my water inked up, but now I'm going to use the stencil in the reverse and make it a mask so that I can go back into my green and bring my grassy area all the way down to my water. Y'all, look at this. This time I'm gonna come in with some fresh pear. And now I'm going to blend up. I didn't tap off early, but that's okay. I see a little bit of a white line forming. I'm gonna probably just reposition this a little bit. Oh my gosh, that's so pretty. Hello, come on, let's get down there. I'm just going in because I don't want that white line to be as prominent as it is right now. And see how I left a little bit of highlight here? It's making the transition just really glow. All right, y'all. Just that quickly, we have an entire cityscape, park, and ocean, or water, should I say, panel background created. And then you could use it as is, make this a 1-layer card and just stamp a sentiment. You could make this be a background for some other die cuts you may want to add on. I mean, the sky is the limit. Again, this stencil is perfection, guys. So many options and ways to use it. And I just thank Christina and Simon Says Stamp for creating it, because this is very, very versatile and can be used in many, many different ways. So I want to thank you guys for joining me for this video today. If you have enjoyed it, please consider giving it a thumbs up. I hope you decide to join the Delta Crafter family by subscribing to the channel. And you can always find me on Instagram and Facebook at The Delta Crafter, as well as on my website, thedeltacrafter.com. Thank you guys again for joining me, and I hope you have a lovely day. Bye, everyone.